I pledge allegiance.
Before any contract is signed, we should have at least consider a field office in this location. We don't know why they closed up here and have all the businesses sent up to Newburgh. I think that is not a very good practice, and it should be considered during this evaluation period. And it should be at least considered, especially since the fact that we have elderly who cannot get to Newburgh at this time or cannot pay via a computer or tablet.
Let me just stop you right there. June, I'm going to ask you to be very specific in your minutes on this public hearing, because I'm going to take the minutes of this public hearing and send them on to Time Warner. Okay?
The other two issues are, again, one is internal, one is external. As you're aware, Time Warner is merging with Charter Communications. That is will be completed by midsummer, which means Time Warner will be under their name. I want to make sure that there's assurances that under these agreements, that Charter will honor your agreement as it was with Time Warner. I want to make sure that is folded. The immediate concern with that is we are not certain if there's going to be a rate hike, which, from what Charter mentions, is going to happen. That will take place 1 to 2 years after the merger is complete. You're looking at and expecting a 10% to 15% chart changeover. So the next part is, for those who are aware of it, Time Warner has been sending out little pieces of information regarding about the boxes for some sort of a digital update. I personally do not think that's an idea that we should be promoting. I know Time Warner is using this as a thing to help and promote their starter and low-level packages. But didn't we go through this before in the Digital Transition Act of 2009? The only difference here is they're encrypting their communications. And the reason for that is because it was predetermined that the users or the businesses want to get more money for this area. My worry about that is for meetings like this, they would encrypt that signal where it's supposed to be over the unencrypted type of transmission. I find that, again, a little annoying that, again, we have to have those little boxes just to watch a meeting like this. Thankfully, YouTube is still around. So, again, I just have an immediate concern about that. My last concern about this, because I know there's probably going to be a few others as well, is during the 2006 agreement, there was supposed to be some sort of a provision to improve service in this area. It has not improved. As a matter of fact, quality has gotten worse. We have still not gotten the higher speed bandwidth that we were supposed to get. We have not yet gotten the reliable communication in terms of receiving a signal or using internet type devices. We have not yet gotten that Wi-Fi that we were supposed to get. Where is it? And again, I want to make sure that these types of agreements are honored, not only under Time Warner, but when Charter comes in, and they are coming in. I would also suggest that if Time Warner cannot agree to such an agreement, or under any circumstances abide by some of the conditions by this community, I would strongly advise looking at another cable company to come in. That in, Bob, I say thank you. I'm going to walk out at this point.
I thank you, and I'm very impressed by your knowledge of Time Warner and the ins and outs and the whole works. Believe me, you went over my head, but I notice our attorney has been taking notes very quickly. But you're talking about an agreement of 2006, and I don't know of an agreement of 2006.
Okay, you may just want to go ahead and just review, because under those conditions at those times, there was supposed to be, and again, one of the stipulated points was a physical office in this location. That has long since gone. Mm-hmm. And now as for the Wi-Fi, again, that was supposed to have taken place. Where is it?
Yeah, I just want a little more, what specifically was the Wi-Fi that
It's
you're...
supposed to be some sort of ability for communication of like network devices such as tablets or cell phones.
Like public Wi-Fi?
Yes.
Okay, like on Main Street or...
Yes.
Okay.
However,
Like if you're a subscriber, you can
Right.
log in. Like, you know how if you go somewhere.
Yeah,
and you
but that's what I mean, like a hotspot
Right.
on Main Street rather than in my
Another name for it, a
house.
hotspot,
Right.
what you're looking for?
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Now again, with Charter coming in, and they are coming, there's no way you can stop that because it is going to be approved by the summer. And within 2 years, you're going to have to probably have to acquire all new equipment, all new technology, and one of the advantages they've already placed, and it has already been given by the state board, is faster internet. You're looking at speeds well beyond what you're getting now. As a person who does a lot of business over the internet and does a lot of technology for independent communities, I mean, if you talk to Pat Flynn, he knows I'm pretty vocal on this subject. But this is one type of idea that must occur. I'm not saying that we cannot be behind. And I also do not like, under any circumstances, for Time Warner to raise rates or give people a hard time when communicating with them, because it is not the way people do business around here. You're supposed to go and do business in a friendly way. And as you know, Time Warner is the worst in the business. Second, of course, to Comcast, which I hope you guys never get here. So I better going back up before I go ahead and take too much time before other business takes place.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your knowledge on the subject. I really do. Is there anyone else? Yes?
Sorry, I just have a quick question. Do we have any other options besides having Time Warner here? I've never heard of anything other than Time Warner being in the town of Highlands. Like, do other companies reach out to us at all?
And to my knowledge, we've never had such as Optimum or one of those. I've never had.
Verizon was gonna bring Fios here about 5 years ago, and that just fizzled. So-
But then that's not the cable, you know. It's just-
Well, it is, yeah.
But
Yeah, but it's
All fiber optics.
fiber optic,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I was just
It would be
curious.
an
I've
alternative.
never heard anything but Time Warner in the community, so I didn't know even if we have any other options as far as cable or internet.
Well, for internet, probably no, but for
Verizon, you get DSL.
television, you only get either a dish direct or over the air.
Yeah, I knew the dish stuff. I didn't know any,
That's
hardwire
it.
cable.
So you put your hand up.
Hi, I'm Kidda Dunn. I live on Center Street. Actually, I did try to switch over from Time Warner to Verizon, and they told me it was not offered in this area, so you're kind of forced to get Time Warner.
Sure we
Yeah,
are.
yep.
We sure are.
That would be nice, because Time Warner is very expensive.
I'll give you an experience in my business, which I'll just use round numbers. I'm paying for my one receiver on one television in there, I think it's $160 a month. Well, just the basic stuff, nothing that's special. So with these new little digital boxes, I called up to get a couple for my two other TVs in there. Well, they told me that I'm not authorized one of those boxes. I have to get a receiver, digital receiver, from them at the cost of $80 each. So I said, no. I just switched, I went to Dish. Not that I'm advising anybody in the business to do it, because I've run into a couple of problems. Certain sports channels I don't get. And I've got a problem there. But anyway, that's my little experience. Now, I would like to add to the public comment, one of the gentlemen that can't be here that wanted to speak on this, our emergency services. I'm going to request that they be provided, online services? Not online. What am I
Internet?
talking- Internet services at no cost. That would be our ambulance, and our fire, and our police department. So, what's the name, our ambulance, one of our ambulance, or our fire people are supposed to be here. He may have forgotten about it, or he may come in too late for public comment, so therefore I want it in there. Is there any other public comment? I ask for a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? All in favor?
Aye.
So carried. And what we'll do is at our next meeting, after Justin looks through the contract and after I hear back from them, we'll bring it up for a vote. If I don't hear back from Cablevision or not Cablevision, but Time Warner, if I don't hear back from them, then we won't bring it up for a vote. And I don't know what happens when we go beyond that, but. it's been
We've
20
got a little
years.
bit of time. We're okay.
Okay. I have a couple, let's see, public comment. Okay. Let's approve the minutes of the last meeting, which is the meeting of February the 22nd.
I'm good. I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of the 22nd.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Okay, communications, I received a communications from It's addressed Dear Village of Highland Falls board members, but I'll still read it. This letter is to respectfully inform you that the 4th of July committee is up and running. To date, we have had several meetings with new and past members. From these meetings, we're well on our way to preparing a great 4th of July celebration. There's a list of about 15 members of the committee. I don't know if anybody in the town is affected by this, but the Agricultural District Review, attention farmers and agricultural landowners, Orange County's annual district review and registration. June, I'm going to give this to you with the letter and a poster to put up. Should anybody ask about it, there's something in there for it. Just today, I received from DOT that they are going to put a pedestrian count time timer at the stoplight at Brooks's and Montgomery, which is right by the firehouse. And supposedly it's one of these kind that talk to you even. So it's okay, you can go and give you 20 seconds or whatever it is. So when it'll be put in, God only knows. But it's been approved. The funding is there. There's a whole bunch of them, a whole page full of them that they're going to do. Oh, even on the back. Goodness gracious. So there's a bunch of them.
I'm sorry, that was from DOT, or?
Yes, yeah.
And they're anticipating like the April timeframe to start working on them.
That's independent of the Fort Montgomery School Initiative, I would imagine.
That's probably to do with the Fort Montgomery School issue, because if you remember, the chief met with DOT down there.
Right. Okay. I'm just wondering if that's the full extent of the remediation, or
Well, that looks like it's countywide, so.
it's probably just an add-on.
Yeah.
He did ask for other, like to
Right.
remove that one, and I know he's still working on that, but
Okay.
Actually, it's Columbia, Dutchess, Orange, Putnam, Rockland, Ulster, Westchester. If I have any other communications as I go through here, I'll bring them up, but that's it for now. On February the 23rd, we spent $131,557, and that includes $18,072 for landfill charges, $11,705 lease payment on a police car, $58,250 for the library, and $5,220 for repairs to the sanitation truck. Then on March 9th, we spent, God bless, $66,186. That includes $17,616 for health insurance, $23,615 for state fines from to the state for fines from the court, and $5,470 fines to the village, which came from the court. Okay, that being done, board liaison reports. We'll start with the ladies.
All righty. Let's see. I've got some things. Okay, I don't know where to start here. Just a quick mention, I was invited tomorrow evening to attend a meeting at the library with the library board, which I've been hoping to get to, or trying to get to over the last couple of years, and our schedules never lined up. So Mr. Kutsaratis reached out to me and let me know they were having a meeting tomorrow, so I'm looking forward to attending that, to finally actually meet their board officially. So there's that. Also, I reported at our last meeting that the Board of Education is in full swing with their budget process. I was able to get to their first meeting where they had their first very preliminary budget presentation. Things are very much up in the air because they have to wait on so many numbers that come down from the state regarding aid and then also our numbers from us for assessments and so on and so forth. So that's going on now. It's always a very interesting process for anybody who's interested in that, to see what's going on with the school board budget. Also, there will be some school board seats available up for election this year, and there is something I just wanted to announce. Anyone who's interested in a school board seat, there is, the Orange County School Board Association does a workshop for potential candidates to just give them information about what it's like to serve on a school board. And that's going to be held on April 9th. It's usually at BOCES. And so I just know if anyone's interested in that, I have information about that. It's also available, I think, on the BOCES website. Anyone interested in running. Also, we have good news, and I saw there was some communication about this with the capital projects that the schools are undertaking. They did have approval to go forward, starting off with the Highland Falls Intermediate School. There was a capital improvement project that was voted on during the last school budget vote, and they got approval to go ahead with that, so we should start seeing some stuff going on, I think, over the summer, to include redoing the track outside and a new playground at the intermediate school and some security upgrades and a lot of really good stuff for the schools. So that's excellent news. We also, there's going to be a ribbon cutting ceremony for the new baseball field at the high school. I believe that's on April 15th. And then they're also looking into starting a new special ed program in the intermediate school for 7th and 8th graders, which would enable the district to keep some students in district rather than sending them out of district, which should ultimately save us some money. So there's just a lot of stuff going on with the schools, and lots of good things going on there. In other news, I had the opportunity. Sir.
Before
Yes.
you get off the school, I'm assuming you're at the meeting?
Yes.
And that they discussed at length Bog Meadow and not taking it off the taxes?
This was not the last meeting, but I didn't go last week, but I was there 2 weeks ago. There was not a lengthy discussion about that. At that one.
Well, at their last meeting, I think it was reported
It must have
in
been
the
just
paper.
last week, right.
Basically, what they said is that since the village is selling water at a profit from that Bog Meadow Reservoir, that they opted not to take it off of school taxes.
Right, gotcha. Thank you for adding that.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, so that's school, library, school. And then, last weekend on Saturday, June was there as well. There was a luncheon, which was at Richie's. The Center's Parents Club, thank you. The Center's Parents Club had their third annual Recognizing Excellence Luncheon, where they honored several school district employees, in particular Amina Thomas and Lisette Bankus, who are the music teachers at the intermediate school, and then Scott Lewis, who is a support staff at the intermediate school, and then two community members, Sean McHugh and Joanne Lewis, who are scout leaders. And it was a lovely luncheon where they honored them for their community service and what they do for our children and community at large. This is, like I said, this is the third year that we've done that, and so that was well attended and a nice event. And then as far as the center goes, we're still looking for some volunteers. If anyone has any availability, can reach out to Ann Molina, myself, any number of other people who are involved with the center. Really just looking for some people to do meet and greet hours at the center itself for when the center is open. You don't need any experience or knowledge, you just have to be there. So that would be, that's nice if anyone has time and would like to volunteer. And then I also brought, just for the board, and I'd like to leave some with June as well, a list of activities and events that are going on at the center for March. Just for your information, there is, if you just walk by the center, in the windows, there's lots of information about events that are available, and then there's always things posted on Facebook, but I would like to, if it's okay, just leave maybe June on the bulletin board downstairs as well, just a list of the events, if anyone would like to know about that. And I think that's all that's in my head at the moment. Thank you.
As Adrian said, that was a very nice award ceremony for, on Saturday, from the Community Parents Club. And the recipients certainly deserved the recognition. In addition to that, I attended the Evelyn Drew Award, where Doris Koziak was the recipient, and she's well deserving of that as well. I went to hazard mitigation meeting with the county, and they have their draft plan almost finished, and it should be sent out for our review, hopefully within the next month. And they'll probably send it out 3 days before they want a response. It's coming along. And everything's going very well at the police department, and that's it.
Thank you, ma'am. Hi.
Good evening. So I had the opportunity to also attend that award ceremony with Councilmember Gunza there, and I was equally as impressed. But while there, I talked to several elders who had some issues and concerns that they wanted to raise with me. Besides that group, I've talked to some others, some of which were shut in and couldn't get out and just happened to be visiting. And so some of the concerns are, we've heard before, like management of the senior center, still on the table, still looking for help with that. I've talked to our recreation director about that issue, and we're both in agreement that it would be great if it was up underneath his umbrella, but at the current time with the things going on that he has on his plate right now, kind of challenging for one person to get his arms around that. But still, he has some good ideas about how he can impact that in a positive way in terms of the elders program, not just the management of the center, but bringing programs for the elders like he has done for the youth. So I'll let him talk a little bit later about that in detail. The second thing is that Mr. Falk and I have talked about interviews coming this week, along with my colleague on the left down there. We all are prepared to this week go forward and interview the assistant for the recreation department. So once that is complete, then it'll be brought to the town board for a decision. But I think in the long term, if we're able to eventually hire that person, then again, we can get at those things like the elderly programs, along with some of the other things that he's trying to accomplish. Many important things, by the way. I spoke to a representative from Code Red. This will go into the area of emergency management. Although Councilmember Gunza wears that hat, I am now enlisted as her assistant, and so.
Partner?
I thought it was partner. I didn't hear that assistant say.
So I'm her partner on that, but I spoke to Code Red. In fact, you sent me a note to link in to Code Red down in New York City at the meeting I was at. So we've had a follow-on conversation since then, and now we're planning to have a lunch meeting where I can, get some specifics of what they can do for our community. After that is complete, then we'll bring them here. If they are the type of organization that we could have some benefit from, then we'll bring them here to do a presentation.
Great.
More to follow on that. And I'll just say, lastly, one of my observations is I've got out of town, I get out of town most of the week because I'm in class and I got other things going on, but during the weekend I try to really get around and see what's going on in our community here. And so it just kind of struck me this past weekend as a lot going on, and there's a lot of, seems like energy to me, like new energy or fresh energy or something. We have these new businesses coming in town. They're bringing some expertise with them when they come in, and they're also bringing some aesthetic improvements, meaning it looks good, the way they're putting their new businesses together, the outsides and so forth. And seems to be more people trickling in from, West Point or just happen to be tourists or whatever. I've seen people here for volleyball, for hockey games and so forth that are now stopping into some of our eateries and hanging out. And so I think that's all a positive thing. So just want to shout out to the Chamber of Commerce and the other people in the community that's doing those things. And that's it for me.
Thank you, sir. Bill?
Consolidation Committee, they're doing a data dive. They've talked extensively with Kelly and really appreciate the work she's being asked to do for them. It's quite extensive. They're also interviewing Chief Quinn and Pat Patterson, I believe this week. They're trying to hook up with them. The committee is supposed to meet again. So it's mostly data diving at this point. The committee is supposed to meet on the 17th of this month, but there was a little bit of concern by some members of the committee that might not be the most productive day to have the meeting. The supervisor made me aware of some problems with Corbin Hill, and I just want the rest of the board to know that the supervisor is being very proactive in what's going on there.
That was Justin, yeah.
Okay. And appreciate that. And I thought we were going to see a member of our community regarding another pit bull attack in the community. And
That member is in Washington DC trying to get school money.
okay.
But his situation is being handled, and June is on top of it, along with the police, of course.
So what I was just going to suggest, I mean, besides that one-off, what I just read in a shallow dive in Wikipedia was that, it's very hard to go after a specific breed or anything. But unless you have specific local legislation, from what I'm reading, the dog owner is not responsible if they took reasonable precautions from securing the dog or not knowing that the dog was potentially vicious. So I'm wondering if the board is open to looking to enhance our regulations to remove that caveat that protects the owner of the dog in the case, in my opinion, in a civil suit, the owner should be responsible if their dog does damage to another person or person's property, regardless of whether they knew the dog was vicious or they didn't have the dog properly restrained or not. So that's something for
A member of
consideration.
Justin's law firm represents us on dog cases. Maybe he can look into that, Justin?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. We'll review what's in place and what enhancements could be put in place should the board decide to.
I think that's all I got. Yep. Thank you.
Data diving? That's a new word for me.
Well, I'm I have a increasingly
Data
short
diving.
attention span.
Okay.
And, I went right to Wikipedia. I'm a big fan of that. And
Okay.
there are pages and pages on this.
No, I mean on the other thing, on the consolidation.
Oh,
That's where you mentioned that, data diving, instead of
Yep.
data diving. The only thing that I have, before I have, Aaron, I'm going to bring you up later, and you can, if you have anything other than what's on the agenda, you can certainly bring it up.
I don't, I'm good. Just
Okay. And Kelly, do you have anything for us?
Just the AUD update, that it's moving along. Actually, it's almost done, so I still don't anticipate any time to file by the end of the month.
And when they do their interviews, they should know what we plan on paying the assistant.
For the.
For the assistant,
We have in the budget 15,000.
okay. I mean, a per hour recommendation or
Okay.
whatever.
We'll go through that. Aaron and I can look at that tomorrow.
Okay.
The only other thing I wanted to mention was Pat Patterson sent me some information today that he got from, I think, PESH, which is the Public Employee Safety, whatever they are, that came in and they went through the highway garage and recommended some improvements and spent some money getting things in place that they had recommended, and there's a grant available that can reimburse us for up to 75% of the money that we spent. So I got the information today for that grant, so I'm going to take a look and see what we can do to get reimbursed for that.
Very good.
Oh, may I add one more thing?
Absolutely.
When we went out to the county for the last meeting for the hazard mitigation, they did a PowerPoint presentation, and they used some of the work that the town of Highlands did and presented to them in their slideshow. So it made me feel very good that...
Yeah, I bet it should, and it should, absolutely should make you feel good. You and Todd did a heck of a lot of work on that. What did we do?
So we got an A.
He used one too, heck yeah. If you can't explain something, then you probably don't understand it. And there's a lot of things I can't explain about Corbin Hill and where we're at and what we're doing. But I can tell you what prompted it. I received a telephone call from a gentleman from Texas who is planning on moving up to Corbin Hill in one of the yet-to-be-finished buildings. And he had been hearing things about water, fire protection, different negative things about Corbin Hill. The man's 75 years old, retired, military, and he wants to move up here to be near his children who are civilians working on West Point. And so I kind of felt for him, and I explained to him as much as I knew about Corbin Hill and the water situation, what have you. I sent him a report from the PSC, and I just suggested to him, I didn't say anything such as you shouldn't buy it or be careful. I told him be careful. That was the bottom line of what I told him. But since then, I've been looking into Corbin Hill and their new development, they're building 2 new buildings, is it?
Correct.
Two new
6
buildings.
units.
And I'm seeing a lot of things that just do not look right. They just don't look right. And then this winter, and I'm sure everyone here noticed the water coming across 9W, which was coming down the hill from Corbin Hill. I took a walk up in that area, and the storm drains on the sidewalk side are filled to the top with dirt. So none of them are running. There's a retention pond up there, 2 retention ponds, actually, if you're coming down the hill from Corbin Hill, on the right-hand side in that patch where there's nothing right now. With all the water and rain we had, there's no water in the retention ponds. So obviously, that's not working right. The silt that does get across the road or into some of the storm drains on the road is going into Garrison Pond, which is building up the silt in there. And if you notice, that's kind of weeded over already. So there's a lot to be desired. And Justin, would you add anything that I didn't bring up, please?
Sure, some elaborations, I guess.
Yes.
So as the supervisor indicated, there's, I guess, multiple concerns at the moment, with the most pressing concern being that the building department just issued a stop work order on those 6 units, as it doesn't appear as if they're being built in accordance with approved plans. So that immediately halts the process and allows both the developer and the town officials to work together to solve some of those issues and what the concerns may be. As the supervisor mentioned, right, indications of that are, right, we have detention ponds on that property and they're dry, so they're not being effectively used. In addition, where the construction is taking place, it required certain reroutings of items, and that is potentially infiltrating the town sanitary sewer system, and that requires immediate action. So the stop work order has been issued. There's been some correspondence with both council, but more the town officials speaking directly with the representatives. So I guess the point is to know that the town officials are taking it seriously because it's for everyone. It's for the people who might ultimately buy those units, but there's a larger impact on other town residents, and so the town is looking into those issues. That sort of ties in with a larger issue going on at Corbin Hill, where residents of Corbin Hill have brought a lawsuit against the developer related to the quality of the water in the private water system. They have their own water transportation corporation. That's just a technical term, but all I'm trying to say is they're not on the town's water system. They have a private system for those homes and the townhomes in the development. Ultimately, the thoughts are that they'd like to come on to the town system. So the town has spoken to them about what some of the requirements may be, what some of the costs may be, to make sure that it is a fair arrangement, again, both for the people at Corbin Hill, but for the rest of the town and the community who's already been paying into the system, and what's the fair manner of handling that going forward. So there's ongoing talks and negotiations there, both with the residents of Corbin Hill, with the developer of Corbin Hill, with the Water Transportation Corporation. Sort of an ancillary but related item is that the commercial parcel, I guess the southern, southeast portion of Corbin Hill, if that makes sense. It's undeveloped. It's a rock pile right now, if that helps the people in town. But it's to the south of the entrance to Corbin Hill Road on 9W. There is application before your planning board to develop that property. It's sort of independent in the sense that that's fine. They're going to go through a planning process and an approval process, and all of these safeguards ideally will be put into place to have a proper functioning commercial component there. But with the existing drainage problems, with some of the clogging, some of the detention ponds, we just want to make sure and ensure that everything works cohesively together. And I guess that's my 2-minute elaboration, but do you have something you want me to clarify?
Well, I think there's one thing maybe we both missed or what have you. We're getting a lot of water into our sewer system that is probably much more, probably even more than double of what we should be getting from Corbin Hill. We're assuming that it's infiltrating into our sewer drains and causing an
We know that it
overload.
is, yes.
Causing an overload not only in the sewer plant, but into that pump station. And
You're elaborating on what I said, because I'm pretty sure I at least mentioned it, but that's correct, and that's one of the most pressing concerns with the immediate stop work order. Because every day that continues, the town potentially has problems with its sewer system, sewer plant, DEC regulations, etc. So that was one of the bases for the stop work order, so that we can get that addressed. And my understanding is there's at least been a preliminary meeting on site by a town engineer and your code enforcement officer, as well as an engineer from the developer.
that was, I think, today, but I'm not sure. Might have been.
Okay.
I
Could
don't
have been
know.
today. I thought it was Friday, but it might have gotten bumped to
Somebody was
today.
up there waiting for us, and there was no one there. They called Irene, but I...
There's been multiple meetings. I mean, so the developer is being responsive to the town's concerns, but it will be a process to work through some of the
Bottom line is,
issues.
we have a situation up there that will be resolved.
Correct.
Okay. We had your comments and concerns. School district requests to be lead agency for capital improvement projects. That was the project that was mentioned by Adrian. The school district wants to be the lead agency on the CEQA, and they want me to consent to them being the lead agency. So if the town board approves me signing this, I'll sign it and send it back.
Second that?
All in favor? Aye. So carried. June, I'll give this to you after I sign and we can send it off to them. Okay, billing service for the ambulance billing. Kelly? Oh, we got a monkey wrench thrown into this unless you figured it out.
No, I did not, I haven't had a chance chance to
Well, just
look
let
at
me,
it.
I'll give the town board a little background. There was an email between Kelly and Captain Burns about poor service from the present company, Evolution, and all the different things that we were unhappy with. I sent those emails to Evolution saying that we've got a lot of problems, we need to sit down and talk. Well, I didn't hear anything from them for weeks. And then just this past week, I get a email from them basically explaining why we've had problems and explaining to us that there are certain things that we haven't done, such as becoming medic aid providers, that they've been suggesting to Captain Stropel. And they estimate that we may be losing over $60,000 a year by not being medic aid providers, right?
That's what their email said.
Yeah, that, they're estimated. Also, if we go with this other company at $35 per claim, based on the amount of claims we had last year, that would be $15,000, whereas 9% of the claims Evolution charges would only be $9,800. So there'd be a loss of like $6,000. So where this other company looked great and they look so bad, I don't know if I want to jump into switching companies. Now, Kelly, you're on.
So what I need to do is see what we paid Evolution last year, which I haven't looked at yet. 9,000 does not sound right to me. I think that's low. I think we paid them more, but I have to confirm it. As far as the Medicaid, it's Medicaid, right, that they said we're in?
Medicaid, yes.
So I know there's been a lot of confusion over the years about Medicaid and Medicare and it's called the CMS application, which I've sent over to Evolution a few times this month with corrections on it. My understanding is that's for both, but this is new to me, so I'm not 100% sure. When we met with the proposed billing company that we wanted to go with, their explanation for the difference in fees is that Evolution is not billing what insurance companies will pay for certain calls. And again, I'm not an expert on this, but I guess there's like a flat fee for some sort of standard ambulance call, and we're charging $325, but insurance companies are paying $600, and we're not billing at the full price. So this proposed billing company's point is it's going to cost $35 whether you're charging $300 or $600 for a call. And again, that takes into account that we don't, residents will accept payment from the insurance company, and they'll go at, they would, just like Evolution does, send second and third notices and things like that. So I do have to look at it more closely, see what we paid Evolution last year, and take a look at that Medicare piece of it. I think we have a Medicare number. Medicaid number. I think we do have a Medicaid number. But I know, like you said, that Evolution took weeks to get back to you, and that's one of our frustrations, is that they aren't responsive. For example, we changed our banks in January from Chase to First Niagara, and I still can't get them to switch the bank account. And here we are halfway through March. I had to keep that one account open at Chase because if I close it, I don't know where the money's going to go. So there's issues on, Evolution has its own set of issues as well.
So with the board's permission, we'll table this part of the agenda? Okay. And Kelly, suppose this week, me, you, and Marty put our heads together to see what information you can get from them, and then we'll
Yep, I'll call Marty tomorrow.
we'll make a recommendation to the board at the next
The
meeting.
next meeting, sure.
I mean, we almost went with them, but that email they sent us was an eye-opener. I wish we would have got it sooner. Camp inventions. Absolutely. You're the guy with this camp inventions. You're going to tell us how we're not going to get stuck
Well,
paying money for a program that doesn't come off. I hate
believe
to
it
put it
or
that way, but that's what it amounts to.
it's always one of the things you got to think of. Believe it or not, I'm not a lawyer, so
No.
the information they sent me, I forwarded to Justin.
Okay.
And the way I understood it was the conversation I had with the lady's name is Lori, who was the representative, is that they're going to charge us a certain amount of number per kid. We don't pay anything up front as long as we get a 35 minimum count. After they pay us, we cut a check to them. And I believe it was 30 days prior.
After they send the materials.
Okay, but
Just not after they pay you.
Yeah, I'm sorry, after,
I was just so they
Yeah.
didn't get confused on.
yeah.
okay, but what scared me when Justin told me is that we have, we need 35 minimum.
35
At
minutes.
$125 a person.
Yes.
And we have to know this 60 days prior.
I thought it was 30. Was it 60? I thought.
Early termination is 60.
Okay.
In this draft.
What she told me was different, so I can go back to her and find out what the real number is. But as long as we cancel before that deadline passes, then we don't owe them anything.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm getting at. And
Yeah.
60 days prior for $125 from 35 kids that's a task.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because I was under the assumption it was 30. That's what she told me. I thought that's what I read, but I was mistaken. But I'll go back and speak with her about it because 30 days is reasonable, 60 days isn't so
Curious to know,
reasonable.
is there already some sense of interest in this?
I've just like everything else we put out, we've had people say that sounds great, they want to sign up. Whether or not they actually do it or not is a different story.
So
Can you tell me, I'm sorry, the details of it again, like the dates, that stuff?
The dates that we came up with were June 27th to July 1st.
Okay.
It's a 9 a.m. to 3:30 camp, Monday through Friday, and
So that's just the 1 week.
just the 1 week.
1 week, 9 a.m. to 3:30, 125.
Yes.
A break on second and third kids, or everybody's 125?
No, it's 125 straight, because that's what we have to give them.
Oh,
We were
right.
actually going to charge a couple dollars more because we have to pay the teachers.
Right.
That, I think it was like $20 extra that we were going to pay the
Okay.
teachers.
Okay.
125 is just the material.
That 125
That's
is just the
yeah.
materials, so that's not necessarily what we're going to charge, we might charge 150 or
140, 145, something in that range, just to be able, I'm not
Yeah,
looking to make money
cover it.
off it.
No, just to
but
cover.
just to-
Here's a
Yep.
question. So, basketball camp, I send my kids to camps. And so some of these camps require a down payment
Right.
to know that you're serious. And then you got a deadline to pay the balance. So if you got this period of time where you got folks telling you, yeah, we're interested in this, is it possible to come up with some sort of down payment system to hopefully have them honor that so you're not stuck with this thing?
We could take down payments, but when that day comes where we have to cancel or not, whether or not they paid it, they have to pay by that day.
Right.
Because we either have to commit or walk away from the table at that
Right.
point. So we could take a down payment and give a receipt and they could pay the remainder,
Yeah,
before
I understand.
the.
Here's where I'm going with this. I'm saying, so right now, if you told us 35 people for sure was gonna go to this thing, we would say, okay, it's gonna be a great thing, let's do it. But right now, we don't know if it's 1 or 2 or 0. And that's the dilemma.
Right.
Yeah.
we're in.
So if we have it, if we collect a down payment, then we at least have a basis to work with to say, should we even go forward, kind of a thing.
Yeah. I mean, again, the only thing with the down payment is when we get to that day and they don't sign up, we
Still
just have to
have to-
refund it anyway.
Right.
So.
But let's say you get a 2 week or a week or something, you put this thing out and you say, everybody that's serious and that's interested, put this down payment, in, and then you get no down payments. Then this topic comes off the table.
Right,
We have
right.
to talk about it.
And
That's a good idea.
What happens these days? What kind of a program is it? What do they do?
It's a science and technology camp. It's, without getting too specific because I don't know specifically, it's more taking, for instance, a DVD player that's broken, and they teach them how to fix it. They teach them how to do different science experiments, things like that. I haven't really dug deep into the curriculum, but that was kind of the overview that.
It's a
What-
STEM
what do you briefly-
program,
It's
right?
a STEM program, exactly.
So what's going on in the summertime now? A lot of cases, kids are doing nothing. So he came up with an idea to pursue this because it's an educational program, science-based. I think it's a great idea, but if you don't get the numbers, then it's not gonna happen.
Well, it's what the term, they use STEM, science, technology, engineering, mathematics. That's the focus of this kind of stuff, but it's fun. It's fun.
Ages are first to 8th grade. It's gonna be held at Sacred Heart. I think if we can clarify that termination date, whether it's 30 or 60, and come up with a date and bring it back to the table, then we might have a better idea. I mean, we could even say, for instance, their date is June 1st, and we could say our date is a week before that, just to give us a little cushion, as far as to keep our end.
Maybe put out some more feelers, just social media stuff to get the response to see. Because 35 could be a lot to try to get
And
for our community.
that was,
We want to
Prior
reach,
to the
West
summer
Point
program?
and stuff.
it's gonna start right as the summer program is starting up.
Because what I'm wondering is if I paid for my kids to go in the summer program, and I have to pay extra for this, and then they wouldn't be in the summer program for a week.
Yeah, and that's an issue, and we
Yeah, but the summer
went back
program
and
is so
forth a
novel.
lot on trying to find a week where it was possible to do.
Yeah.
And there wasn't a week where it wasn't gonna conflict with the summer program, so we thought that was the best week to try to squeeze it in.
Okay. I
And you
think
had
before you let me
mentioned-
sign this, I think we better talk some
And
more about it.
and the other part of it is, because I know we need 35 people a minimum, we were gonna advertise it outside of the community to residents outside and charge them a higher price. And that's where we would try to see a lot of our, revenue, the profits that we'd be able to keep within the town, is from the residents outside the people outside the community.
But if you don't receive enough commitments from community members, you don't want to make it too high for outside, because you'd like to fill up the spaces so you can hold the camp.
I think outside the community, you're gonna see a lot of people who think that what we
That's
charge is gonna be
inexpensive.
reasonable, honestly.
Yeah. I think everybody, Phillipstown Rec, which has a huge department, they always have resident and non-resident prices, and it's not that
And that's
much
just about
more.
everywhere. New Windsor
And
does the same
everywhere
thing,
does the
Newburgh.
same thing, and it's not a huge jump, in my experience, like, from what they charge the residents to the non-residents, if it's worth it, and this, I think, is a worthwhile program,
I agree
think-
with you.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'd like to see it succeed.
I think that you would see, West Point and Cornwall
I
and
think so.
and Garrison, you would see some people.
What I'm gonna
The only
do,
trouble is here, as far as residents and non-residents go, we don't have anybody on our borders. It's not like being in Cornwall and having the town of Cornwall and the.
No, but there
New
is.
Windsor.
You have your Cornwall, Garrison.
Yeah, but they're not really close as.
Oh, I mean-
As any other location. No, and I'm not saying we can't do that. I'm just saying that it's a tough one to get non-residents.
Cornwall's only 15 minutes away.
I disagree, because I go to,
I drove to
Because I
Peekskill
have
for
to go to
volleyball
everything
camps
as a
and
non-resident,
Monroe for
so.
cheerleading. I don't, as a parent, don't think it's
I
too
think
much of
the
a
issue we
drive.
brought out to marketing.
Yeah,
getting
exactly.
the
That's why we need
information
to-
those other communities.
I didn't want to do that too much until I knew we were going to do it, but what I could do on my end is go back and speak with Lori about the termination date and clarify that, and put some more
think
informational
push it out
feelers
to
out
the-
and see what kind of feedback, and then we'll come back and discuss it again.
And the termination date may be 60 days prior to the beginning of the program, correct? Not when I sign this.
No. It's, if we hold it on July 1st, it would be, June 1st, whatever the 30 days exactly would be. But I was told 30, that's why when you said 60, I was a little surprised. But I'll go back and figure that out, because that's on my end.
And do you know the website for the company? Is it like campinvention.com or something?
It's .org, something like that,
For people
yeah.
to just
Yeah,
look
it's-
up and see,
Yeah.
check it out and see what it's about.
I'll put the website out for people to look at, too.
That would be
That
cool.
way, it's not coming from me. They could actually look at something for themselves. Not that I'm not trustworthy or anything.
Okay, so we'll table that for the next meeting.
I'll send an email out to everybody, and then.
Don't go nowhere, just stay right there. Background checks for coaches. Aaron put in a lot of work on figuring out approximately how many people we're hiring and what have you, and.
I
of course,
overestimated.
With the program, and you what?
Overestimated, so
Overestimated at
that's kind of like a
795?
high end on what we would probably need. But I'd rather, go over than lowball and come back and ask for
Well,
more
well, you don't
money.
have to spend it, I mean, we can just estimate it. So anyway, he estimates at $795 for us to check out our coaches and our people that are with the kids. And that would be $795 a year, right? I mean,
Yeah, that's-
not like
that's-
starting the program and then it's cheaper later on.
No, that's for the tier package that they recommended for our size. It was $199 subscription, and then because of that subscription, we get $795 per background check versus I think it was like 19 or 20, depending on what checks that you want.
Okay, what I'm
So
getting
it
at
was
is
$795 for the whole year.
the fall, winter programs, or whatever have you.
Everything,
no matter who we have
everything,
for it.
forever for the whole year.
And then each year you pay the
Right here
initial
in front of me,
fee.
never mind.
Yeah, you'd pay the $199 every year, and then whatever you spend
Okay.
per check.
So that was $7.95 a person?
No, no,
Yes.
$795 for the program.
Okay, thank you.
It's
Total.
$199 for the subscription, and then $795 per check per
Person.
person.
Wait,
No, no, you got that wrong. It's $596 for the people, and then I guess you added 190 something to that.
wait, can we speak in
Yeah.
dollars and cents, not just the number, like
So for-
Yearly
$596
membership
or
is
whatever you're saying?
$199. Background check price is
$199 is
$795
the-
times 75 check.
Yeah, here.
Approximately, yes.
Yes.
And yes,
So that comes to a total of
$7.95,
Yeah.
not 795. Yeah. 199.
So if we want to sign off on this program, which I'd recommend we do, I think it's, I would, I make a motion.
199, 199, 795 per person.
We got a motion on the floor to sign off on this program. Adrian, you with it?
Yeah, I'm totally with it.
Okay, all right. And June?
Yes,
Okay.
I am.
Anybody against it? No, so there we go. Well, we already did. We already did.
It's a very formal voting process.
All right, let's see, got coach background checks. And that's it, I guess. And now, you got anything else?
No,
Sure?
not today.
Nothing?
I have one more thing if I could.
I'll think about this. Wait till I get my...
But stand by the microphone, the people at home can't hear you.
I just went and checked the evolution. So in
Yes.
2013, we paid them $12,000. In 2014, we paid them $11,000, and in 2015, we paid them $10,000. So it really, first of all, I want to know why are we paying them less when it's 9%? That makes it,
But it's based on, isn't it the number of runs and the amount of money that generates?
yes, which means
And
we're
that
collecting
fluctuates.
less each year, but that just doesn't make sense to me.
That's where me, you, and Marty got to sit down and...
So I just wanted to mention that. And then I also just wanted to mention that this week, the Town of Highlands Facebook page hit 1,000 likes.
Yay.
And we can thank Aaron for that. So I just wanted to mention that. It's a big milestone.
It is, nice.
Yeah.
This Saturday, 10 o'clock, Roe Park, our annual Easter egg hunt.
Oh, yes.
So please come out, support our kids. Thank you.
This Saturday at 10 o'clock. What time's the parade? 12
Noon.
o'clock?
12.
12 o'clock. Okay. Got a full day of activities Saturday, don't we? Oh, and this Saturday or Friday, look in your local newspaper, because I goofed up, I don't remember which day it is. Congressman Maloney will be here at the town hall to talk to anybody that would like to stop in and say hello to him. It'll be at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, either Friday or Saturday. I'll put it on, I'll get Kelly to give Congressman Maloney's office a call to set up exactly what time and what day.
Okay.
And we'll put it on Facebook. It'll be probably 1,001 hits then.
And put it on Channel 23 for the,
Yes,
yeah.
okay.
Some people do not do Facebook in our community.
Okay,
Not me.
I got this in the mail from Supports for Living Foundation, which I know nothing about that.
Access. It's
You know?
formerly Occupations.
Okay,
It's just a new name. I don't know if anyone's familiar with Occupations, Inc. It's now called Access Supports for
okay.
Living.
They want permission to sell raffle tickets in our town. They Staff and sellers will not be setting up tables at any location within your municipality without the proper approval. They have permission from New York State Gambling Commission, Gaming Commission. And they basically, let's see, Amy Anderson is a president and CEO. Do you know her by any chance?
I do not, no, not personally.
Okay.
It's a big organization.
So they need the permission of the town board.
So Justin, since they have state approval, does that mean on public property? Or does it mean anywhere?
I would assume they'll be soliciting just about anywhere, but they're asking for your permission because your local code also requires a permit, which comes through the clerk's office. They are a large, 501c3. They've been in Orange County for all of their existence. They have certain contracts with West Point. They're a good charitable organization working with mentally disabled children, adults,
They do
families.
everything. They do everything.
They have a
tons
broad
of-
diversity of services, but they do a lot of job placement, and some of their contracts are on the West Point grounds, placing mentally disadvantaged into jobs.
Well, I just wondered if we want them knocking on private homes.
Well, I don't think they go door to door.
Okay. That was really the
Not
point
their,
of my question.
never been the model I've seen from them. Again, they're throughout Orange County. They have offices in New Windsor. Their corporate headquarters are out in Middletown. Our firm gets solicited if that matters, but no, I don't foresee a door-to-door process. I just think they want to know for the community that they're going to be out there and that they're not some fly-by-night organization just seeking to run a game of chance where, they're taking advantage of a situation. I think that's why they're applying for the permits. But it's obviously up to you all.
Okay, how do you feel, board? Do you have a
Well,
motion?
if they have to apply for a town permit, correct?
Correct. With
So don't they apply for the town permit and then the board approves it, or is that how?
Well, without getting technical, I would think your town clerk could approve it
Okay.
under her own auspices, the way the legislation is.
Did I get this to you, Jim? Did I send this to you? The gaming permit? It's down the bottom, it explains that we may choose consent or we may not.
Oh, are you talking to me
Yeah.
or?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought June.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, stuff in the YouTube.
Did I
Okay,
send
no,
this to you?
no, you didn't.
Okay, my goof.
It's right here.
But June,
I have the letter.
I don't think it would matter
Oh, no,
who
you're right.
approved
Yeah, yeah.
first
Yes, yeah.
in that instance.
So how do you feel, guys?
I'm good if June's all right with him. June Patterson.
All right. Bill, you made a motion, you seconded. Any other discussion on it? No? Okay, so then municipal clerk, this is for you to sign. Okay, so I'll pass this on to you too. But first of all, I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, so carried. June has done some work, a lot of work, getting quotes for new carpet in the town hall. Last couple of months, she's been looking at. She has two good quotes and one quote that's a little high. Unfortunately, the money for this project will need to come out of the town hall reserve fund, and that has to be done with a public hearing and a motion. The bottom price is $6,700, am I correct? From Affordable Floors?
Take off the tax.
Take off the tax, 62, okay, that's the cheapest price, right? Okay, so the recarpeting would be in the rooms that have carpet, obviously, and they are going to do all of the moving of furniture, those 1,000-pound lead-lined filing cabinets in the controller's office, not the controller's office, but in the assessor's office. A lot of work is involved with this, so what I'd suggest is that we schedule a public hearing to take, we'll call it 68, a public hearing, and Justin, I'll give you the exact numbers, but a total of $6,200 from the reserve fund, hold a public hearing.
That for the next?
Well, whatever reaches out right, time-wise.
Yeah, that's fine. I would just provide the notice to the clerk in the
Yeah.
morning so she can.
I just have a question, if that's
Yeah.
okay. Can we do more than what is allotted, only because IT is gonna cost money to move computers and everything? So I'd like to have a little bit extra, is that okay to do?
Sure. How much would you need? Maybe 62, 7,000?
I don't know how much.
We don't know.
Yeah, you probably have to contact
It's not
IT and find out.
I think it's the reconnecting.
Well, that's what I'm saying, is that,
Yeah.
yeah, it's the reconnecting and unconnecting and everything.
Is there any way to get an estimate?
We probably can call them.
You can do a not to exceed number, and you don't have to.
Right.
Okay, well, it's not to exceed 8,000 then.
That's more than enough.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, so I'll ask for a motion to set a public hearing to remove $8,000 from the Town Hall Reserve Fund for the purpose of carpeting the Town Hall. So moved. I have a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
So carried. That's just a public hearing. We're not approving this to be done or anything. It's just a public hearing.
I have a question. Who's going to move all of the furniture and all the filing cabinets
You weren't
and
listening.
the company?
Yeah, it's
You
on,
weren't listening.
it's on the quote.
You're right, I wasn't. Adrian was talking to me, I missed what you said.
Oh, nice.
Okay, all right. Other things that are not on the agenda, a memo from Pat Patterson, he's informing us that we will not be renewing grass cutting contract with Neighbors Landscape and Design. Actually, they opted out. We'd like to award the 2016 contract to the next lowest bidder, which is Hudson Seal Coating. He checked with Kelly, and this is the right way to do this. Any questions, can ask me or Kelly or Pat. And I think we checked with Justin, and Justin had no problem doing it that way either.
Do we know about Hudson Seal Coating? Do they have enough guys to get it done?
They've done it before,
They
and that was
have?
one of
Okay,
the,
good.
that was the criteria, is to
Yeah,
have enough
yeah.
guys, yes.
Awesome,
It's
okay.
got to be done in one day. In other words,
Yeah.
if they're going to do a cemetery, it's one day.
Yeah,
One day
exactly.
cut.
Excellent, thank you.
Yes. A letter of resignation from Claudette Smedman. This is my letter of resignation from the Town of Highlands Police Department as the crossing guard of Route 9W in Fort Montgomery. Due to health issues, I am unable to perform my duties. I would like to take this time to thank you and all the policemen in making my position a pleasant and joyous experience. God bless you all. I had a resident request to see if a butterfly garden could be put in Brooks's Park.
resignation. We have to accept the resignation.
Oh, okay, good. Got a motion? Got a motion?
The clerk is making the motion, apparently. I'll make the motion.
Okay. Second by? June?
I'll second it.
All in favor? Opposed? Resignation is respectfully accepted. Anyway, a resident wanted to look into putting a butterfly garden in Brooks's Park, and she would call it a handicapped butterfly garden, because our money from community development is for handicap purposes only. I have a letter from Fusco Engineering that he has reviewed the grant offerings and the grant contracts, and he has, this is from Fusco Engineering. He has concluded that we cannot modify our project to include the proposed handicapped butterfly garden. So I notified this citizen and thanked her very much. That is all I have, I think. Anybody have anything else on the board? Public comment? Anyone? Wow, wow. Okay. Identify yourself, please, and
Venetia Jackson, and today I would like to request that the town of Highlands has a Juneteenth observance this year on June 19th, Sunday at the Memorial Park from 9:30 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. and we would be able to raise a flag. June 19th is considered the date when the last slaves in America were freed. June 19th symbolizes, for many African Americans, what the 4th of July symbolizes for all America's freedom. Currently, Texas and Oklahoma have this as a legal holiday. There's only 2 states in the United States, but over 200 cities across the United States celebrate this day.
Ty, could I ask you to spearhead this project?
You can ask me. No, Ms. Jackson has, as I spoke in earlier to the board members, that Ms. Jackson has come to me. In fact, what I found is that this is not even a new initiative here in town. I was Googling some information about Juneteenth, and come to find out, 2003, there was a Juneteenth celebration here at St. Mark's Church. And if I'm not mistaken, a young lady named Miss Laura Lanier, who has passed at a young age and unexpectedly, rest in peace, was the one that took the lead at that time. And so, yeah, new information for me, but definitely something I think that would benefit the whole entire community in terms of bringing us together for another reason to celebrate. So sure, Mr. Supervisor, I would definitely be honored to take that on.
And you're going to help?
Oh, absolutely.
All right, okay.
I'm
Thank you.
glad you did put that out there.
Hey, and it's on tape. It's on YouTube, it's on everything. We
Does
got
that
it.
mean that you're an assistant?
Who's the assistant, Vanessa, you or him? Anyone else? Anyone else? Public comment?
Just driving by Brooks Park yesterday afternoon, it was incredible how many kids and parents and people were enjoying the park yesterday. It's most crowded I've seen it other than for a ball game. It's great.
No, it's really caught on down here. It's amazing, and a lot of hikers are using it too. They're using it for parking, but nevertheless, they're hiking off from Brooks Park out into the woods, probably around the lake, some of them. We did the improvement almost within the same week or day. I think I brought up the last meeting, a tree fell across the trail.
that's Pat.
They were down there and took care of that, and it's all done. Okay, I'll ask for a motion to go into executive session to discuss a personnel issue.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I would ask our town clerk and Kelly to attend also, please.